Babuk.
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 Have you started
Babuk.
already?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, you don't. I did.
Oh, you did? Hello and welcome back to the Cyber News Weekly podcast. This week we've got a few stories to discuss with you. One about a ransomware gang who are terrible liars, a major breach at a sperm bank, and the infamous Signal group chat leak. Joined with me this week are my colleagues, Yorgita Lapanita, the chief editor at Cyber News, and Ernestus Napris, a senior journalist here at Cyber News. Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
So, Ernestus, Babuk ransomware gang, you've been covering this, and I wanted to ask you a few questions about
Sure,
the
shoot.
topic. Shoot. Who are Babuk 2? It's Babuk 2, right? Because there's Babuk 1, and then Babuk 2.
Yeah, it appears that these two are completely different and distinct operations. The Babuk one was a legitimate ransomware gang, a very sophisticated one, which targeted large organizations and have, extorted large sums of money. Meanwhile, the Babuk 2, well, I wouldn't call it a complete hoax, but it appears that they just claim big breaches, big names, share already leaked data, but have nothing to back it up, like they try to earn money while doing...
Piggybacking off of other people's.
Yeah,
We're just
basically.
jumping straight into it. If I can rewind a little
Sure.
bit, just kind of recalling the beginning of last week, which we felt was an exciting Monday, and it usually isn't exciting because we woke up to kind of a lot of news, meaning we would get notifications from the our tool Ransom Looker, right, with Babuk 2 claiming victims, and not just on random victims, but like really big ones. So that would be like Orange, right, a really huge telecommunications operator. Then there were like a few Chinese commerce giants, right, and then later in the week it was Amazon Endeavors, right. So even though so this is a ransomware gang, or criminals, and we kind of know most of the time, even when they are saying true about the breach, there's some over exaggeration, so we kind of take every claim with a pinch of salt, and we had the hunch that they might be lying because, again, the names, the brands like Pinduoduo or Taobao, they're like really huge, but we still had to kind of start checking that and to see whether how legit that was.
Surely also would ransomware gangs come out with troves of information like this, because it was 50 or 60 companies that they claimed allegedly, but would they come out with all of this information in one go, or is that normal, or would it come out incrementally? Or
No, they started posting their claims back in January, starting with 60 companies. They remained silent for a few months, then they came back in March, claiming all those big names. But each claim has a post on the dark web on their data leak site, which was cloned from the Babuk 1 version. Also, they share some data that looks credible because it's recycled from other leaks.
who did they recycle it from?
From other crooks.
Yeah.
Klopp, I heard, I think,
all their claims were previously claimed by other ransomware gangs like Ransom Hub and others, Logbit also. So they basically took others' work and reshared it on their data leak site and tried to earn money from that.
I mean, this is another level of criminality, I guess.
Yeah,
Or what AI does, right? I just
recycle what humans
recycle.
already say. Yeah.
Also, we have to kind of remember that they pretty much function like legit business, but without obviously having the legal boundaries and obligations. So hacking happens all the time, and the theft happens all the time, right? But then someone still has to probably physically sit at the computer and then like, oh, okay, so I start my work being as a criminal, and now I will post about these like 3 new victims or 4 new victims. So that's why we see like a bunch of them being posted at the same time, but it doesn't
okay.
mean that the breach happened at the
All
same
at the same time, yeah.
It's just pretty much the way we write articles, right? So we come on Monday morning and then we see, okay, so this happened and this happened and this, and we publish simultaneously, like let's say 10 articles. It doesn't mean that it all happened
On
at
the same
once.
day, yeah. And I was wondering like what this means for like legitimate ransomware groups, because this is like you said, it functions as a legit business, and there's something that you have to have, like you have to have some shred of truth or integrity in what you do by saying, I've taken your data, if you want it back then you have to pay me. There's like some kind of like truth or something that has to go into this, some trust, I guess.
Yes,
So-
of course. Established ransomware gangs rarely make any unsubstantiated claims because, well, they expect to be paid. So,
Well, it hurts your business model, I guess.
yeah, if you say that you have data and you won't leak it and you will help to restore, decrypt it, so you expect the payment. And if
Yeah.
you can do that, actually, if you have nothing, then why would I pay you?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Reputation is even more important in that dark world, right? This is not, again, everything functions like legitimate business. So if you are a criminal, you need to be like a proper one. Companies who are at risk of being hacked, they need to be afraid of you, right?
Yeah.
And some of the ransom gangs like Logbit, right? Some companies would pay just because, they would see that, okay, we were hacked by Logbit,
Yeah.
and we know, this has a high reputation for being like really badass. And here's also the reason why others try to spoof them or like
Yeah.
steal their work, because these gangs, they have like good reputation, right? And they know just because you have this name, companies are more likely to pay ransom than when you come with them some very creative name but unknown, right?
Yeah, because there's nothing behind what you've there's no backing, I guess. And Babuk was like a very reputable, like a ransomware gang.
Yeah, they actually did very large breaches, and but the activity kind of diminished after 2021. So their leak site was offline for a while now, and the Babuk 2 just established. Well, I want to ask you a question. What do you think? What is their business plan here?
What's the business plan? I don't know, because it makes no sense to me. Like we've discussed, it's like the reputation is important and you need to have the data in order to extort people for money, right? So I don't know, maybe they're just making some kind of a name for themselves, or they're trying to discredit Babuk, the original ransomware gang that's come offline or whatever. I don't know. It's all very confusing. I don't know why you'd want to do this, just in hopes of making money.
Maybe they hope that someone will actually pay if they for them, instead of the other ransomware gangs that actually made the breach. But I think the real business plan is the other. They try to make a name for themselves, and they posted an invitation to join for affiliates. You just place a $5,000 deposit, and you get all the tools to be a ransomware
So they're just
operation.
trying to recruit people.
Yeah, but first you need to pay.
Yeah, you kind of, you are, when you are trying, let's say, to establish a business and you need a website, a Facebook page, something else, right? Usually you don't go there and start over, right? Sometimes small businessmen, they are trying to kind of buy already existing infrastructure of a business, buy an already existing Facebook page with some following,
domain, I
they
guess.
could build on top of that. Yes,
Yeah.
so that you don't need to start from scratch. So why not?
Piggyback off of like a
the very well-established, ransom gang name, which hasn't been, in operation for over 3 years
seems
now.
kind of dead.
So it's kind of, maybe they won't come after us. So, first, obviously, they need a website. So they just like kind of republished the victims that were claimed by them and by others. So, then like either affiliates or victims, no, not probably victims. I don't think this was an attempt to extort victims, right? Because if as long as those claims are not new and there's no substance to them, no one would pay, obviously. But, I think, it's more, as Ernesto said, for affiliates to kind of, they come to a website and then like, oh, yeah, this is Babuk. We know them.
Big name.
They've breached
Big
brands
companies,
in the past. So, it's fine. And, we are on board.
Little do they know. This is just some... isn't it connected to Evil Corp? That's what I read somewhere. Or maybe just the ransomware itself is connected to...
I think the first variant was, but I'm talking about the second Babuk. It's not clear who's behind that.
Yeah. I'd be interested to know, obviously, but...
It's all interconnected, I think. And they do rebrand quite often. So who knows?
Who knows? Well, okay.
Someone... They know, I'm sure.
Oh,
or maybe not.
Who knows anything anymore? So what has happened this week is one of the biggest stories of the week, if not, I think, of the year. Take it away. You gotta get that.
I can take it away. Everyone knows the story, obviously. I think this is hilarious.
I do too.
The Signal Gate, right? So... This is so random that Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, didn't believe this was happening. He had thought this was a hoax for quite a while. It's just, too good to be true. So he was added to the Signal chat, by the Trump administration, where top officials essentially discussed top secret. Now they say that information essentially wasn't classified, but what else can they say? He was added to the Signal chat where they were discussing secret military plans relating to Israel-Gaza war. Those were strikes in Yemen, but essentially a lot of the information Goldberg didn't even share because he felt that it wasn't right, and he only wrote an article after this turned out to be true because, again, as I mentioned, he didn't believe the chat was real. He thought that this was highly sophisticated misinformation attempt because a lot of officials who joined the chat, he felt that they were acting and talking the way they are in real life. And he thought like, oh, wow, that's like really good mimicry, right, of those people. And it turned out to be not. In the end, and now everyone is kind of spooked about how he ended up in the chat. Has anyone checked? Obviously, there's a lot of discussion whether you could even share those very specific military plans on Signal, which hasn't been approved, right, as an official communication app and whatnot. And obviously, this is not our place to talk about politics. It's up for them. But then everyone went on talking about the Signal app, obviously, which is considered to be a gold standard when it comes to communications apps. And it is. It's way better than WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
It collects very limited information. It doesn't belong to Meta, which is also a big yes
good.
for me, yes. Anyway, it's a good app, except for that last year there was a vulnerability on this desktop app. Essentially, it would load an SQLite database, and it would save a decryption key on the desktop, essentially on the computer, to decrypt the signal communication, which is end-to-end encrypted.
Yeah.
So essentially, that's you could find the key under the doormat, right? So everyone could find that. And there are rumors that some of these members of this chat group actually use the desktop app, and we know that it's been that flaw. It's been there for like at least from 2018, so it's been years and years, right?
Wow, okay.
It's been fixed, but have you updated your desktop app? A lot of questions remain.
Who's using a desktop Signal? Well, I mean, who's using Signal for this purpose specifically? It blows my mind.
A bunch of top officials, it appears, but also,
mind-blowing.
We know from, let's say, Trump assassination attempt, right, that it's really easy to unlock your phone, right? And given that if some of those guys would have lost their phones, right? Or if there's a spyware on their devices, which is a zero-click attack, right? So an attacker or, espionage, for espionage purposes, like a Russian spy could be just kind of reading your messages and infect your device without you knowing. And, we are talking here about high targets. Trump administration, obviously, they are being targeted all the time, same as journalists. So they need to take, obviously, better precautions here.
Obviously
Who
missed
knows,
the memo. I'm just going to go on Signal. It's end-to-end encrypted.
I don't think there was any memo. I think John Radcliffe, he was in one of the committees this week. I think he said that the Signal app was preloaded on work devices when he came to work. That needs to be verified. I mean, obviously they need some communication.
But surely they have their own in-house.
But also you could communicate, but there are rules how you communicate there.
Yeah.
So you communicate either, you have some like secret words, or you communicate around the matter, or you kind of
in code or emojis.
Yeah, emojis. But this
Fire.
felt like, okay, so people who haven't read that, I highly suggest just going and reading the article on Atlantic, not some recaps anywhere else. The article by Jeffrey Goldberg is amazing one. Like, pretty I haven't read anything like that in quite a while, and there are excerpts from those chats and also some screenshots. They're hilarious. It's like reading our Slack channel with the like rocket emojis and we did good, but like, guys, people died, and it's like,
crazy.
Shouldn't this differ a little bit from what we do in our like daily lives?
Like, I think one of the texts was like, I'm so bored of bailing Europe out. And it's like, how old are you? Like 15-year-old boys in this group chat? Come on.
Toxic masculinity.
Yes.
Also high-fiving.
High-fiving, you did great. Good job. Just hundreds of thousands of lives of people being destroyed. Great.
It reminds me of the Black Mirror episode, one of the first ones, when you actually witness someone else dying or suffering through the screen, right?
Yeah.
It somehow doesn't feel real.
It's very dystopian.
It's very dystopian. Then it's like a game for them. It's like, some Houthi people died in Yemen. Yes, good job, America, for the win.
It's just a boys' club, though. Like, that's just what it signals to me. Is that it's just a boys' club, and that's it. But we won't get into that.
Yes, there's a Netflix show if you want to get into that, adolescence.
Adolescence, good. If you want to get into the manosphere and all this other kind of stuff, watch Adolescence. Right. The next topic we have is quite an interesting one, actually, about a data breach that happened at a major sperm bank. California Cryobank suffered a breach last April, and it which exposed the personal information of an unknown amount of Americans. The Office of the Maine Attorney General said that there were 24 Maine residents that were affected, but still, the numbers are not known. And it revealed lots of personal information like social security numbers, driver's license numbers, financial account numbers, and health insurance information. But what's interesting is that it's a sperm bank. So what do you guys think about this?
Were those employees or?
Well, it's unknown whether it was employees
they
or...
didn't share any details. But, well, if you deduct that 24 people are in Maine, they're probably not working for a company in California.
Yeah, potential, unless you can remotely do what you do at sperm banks. But
it's
surely
big
not.
company. Maybe they do have a.
Maybe they have offices, but
Yeah, but it's an interesting one because it's to do with sperm and reproduction.
It's more
and all.
interesting to think that it has to do with customers and not employees.
Not the employees. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know.
there is a risk.
There is a risk. What are the risks?
The risk of you finding your father? I'm joking.
Maybe.
Actually, I started researching this story and, donor siblings in general after we saw and covered this breach. And it turns out that a lot of people actually want to know who their donor siblings are, right?
Yeah.
And then it made all the sense to me, right? So, okay, if I know that I was conceived from a donor, right? And then I meet someone randomly, let's say, and I learn that they are also, conceived from the donor father. Wouldn't you want to know, just in case, you are related and you want to have kids?
Yeah, so that you don't have weird little incest babies.
Yeah. So wouldn't that make sense for that information to be public or at least accessible upon request? Obviously, you don't want that to be breached because from what I've read, sometimes the same sperm could be given to dozens and dozens
of different women or people or
people. Yes.
People being PC.
So and some people are just eager to find their donor siblings because they think of them as family.
Yeah. Well, they biologically, I guess they are, but because most of this information, I think I've never done it, but yeah.
Done what?
Anyway.
Donated or?
I've never donated my eggs, basically. But if you do, I think it's all anonymous, right? So you have a user ID number, which is attached to your specimen. And but these things are all basically anonymous, which I'm not sure they should be, but what are the implications of this breach, though? If there's only financial data and social security numbers, maybe they could attach to
dozens of people could come knocking on your door.
Father.
Well, the information provided by the company lacks of any details, so we are not sure what actual information has leaked, and the lawyers started their investigations whether they could start claiming
Class action.
Yeah, class action.
Yes.
And many situations come in mind. For example, probably a lot of kids don't know if their parents use the services of such a clinic, and if the data leaks and now the new information is present to them, how do they feel?
Yeah, it's true.
Also, it's just private, right? If you use such services, it's up to you whether you choose to announce it or not. The same as, now we are learning that 23andMe is filing for bankruptcy, right? It had a breach, last year it was, or was it 2023? Yeah. And now, it's filing for bankruptcy. It already had financial problems before the breach. Now this just means that they want to speed up the process, right, and ease their financial troubles. But this means that data will change hands, right? And this is extremely sensitive. You think that it's all anonymous, right? But again, as you mentioned, there's always some ID number or something that could essentially be somehow traced to you, right? So it's not something you are just essentially you just losing control
Of your DNA.
of your DNA, of your data, of what you've done, of the like life decisions that you've made, right? Doing something like either donating your tissue or being the one conceiving a child, let's say, from that tissue. This is very private, very intimate details of your life, right? So just learning that you could be your data could be leaked somewhere. I think this is just really, really a stressful situation, no matter whether it's going to be used against you or not, right?
Yeah. I mean,
that's not what you are signing up for.
No, but I think like in terms of like when these like 23andMe and when it's like a business, you must have to kind of think, if you are aware of, hacks and stuff like that, that these things could potentially happen and the implications could be massive. But I don't know. Is it avoidable?
I also think about the donors, another social situation. Imagine someone donates their sperm to the bank, forgets about it, lives their happy life for 20 years, and then suddenly dozens of kids calling him, hello, I want to meet you. I think you're my...
Didn't that happen in like a Family Guy episode or something like that? It sounds very much Family Guy. Hello, 20 Peters show up and they're like, I'm father.
Probably didn't see that episode.
Oh. Okay, well.
What can you do?
Sperm and all.
I don't think we are private anymore. I'm really convinced that nothing we do online or offline, for that matter,
Is sacred.
No.
Nothing
So,
is sacred.
you know,
Well,
be prepared to be exposed.
okay, well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.